Hey guys, welcome back to today's videos. Today we're going to be reading chapter 1, Mom and Dad Enter Portal. Okay, link in the description for my book Kindle version on Amazon. And remember, if you're new here, click the notification bell to get notified every single time I publish a video. Anyways, let's delve in to the mysterious tale. Chapter 1, Mom and Dad Enter Portal. When Alex, Lorenzo, and Jonathan's parents disappeared, the day started like another, but soon took a turn towards the inexpected. The brothers had grown accustomed to their parents' busy schedules, often leaving early and returning late due to their demanding careers. However, that particular evening was different. As the sky darkened and the hours ticked by, there was no sign of either parent. Initially, Alex and Jonathan weren't overly concerned, assuming perhaps a delayed meeting or forgotten cell phone was to blame. As the night progressed, the brothers tried to distract themselves with video games and movies, but a growing unease settled over them. They began checking their phones compulsively, jumping at every sound that resembled a car pulling into the driveway. By midnight, worry had transformed into genuine fear. They started calling their parents' phones, only to be greeted by the monotonous drone of voicemail. The next morning, with still no word from their parents, Alex took charge, his protective instincts kicking in. He called the police to report them missing. Officers arrived and took their statements, their faces etched with concern, but also a professionalism that suggested such occurrences were not wholly unfamiliar to them. They asked about enemies, deaths, unusual behaviors, or recent changes in their parents' lives. Alex and Jonathan could provide no satisfactory answers. Their parents were loving, stable, and generally risk-averse. The community rallied around the boys' neighbors. Neighbors brought meals and offered comforting words, while friends and relatives launched social media campaigns to find their missing parents. The police conducted a thorough investigation, searching the family's home, examining financial records, and interviewing colleagues and friends. They discovered that on the day of their disappearance, the parents had both left work at their usual times without indicating any plans or other than returning home. Days turned into weeks, with no breakthroughs. The lack of clues was maddening. Alex and Jonathan struggled to maintain normalcy. They continued attending schools supported by teachers and peers, yet the shadow of their parents' absence hung over every moment. During this time, the brothers grew incredibly close, their bond fortified by shared loss and the necessity of relying on each other. Alex, more introspective and cautious, balanced Jonathan's impulsive and optimistic nature. They spent long nights talking about their parents, reminiscing about their past vacation, quiet weekends, and simple everyday moments that they get taken for granted. As months passed, the community's interest waned, but the brothers never lost hope. They started their own investigation, combing through their parents' belongings for any overlooked clues, retracing their parents' last known steps, all that they could do. The mystery of their parents' disappearance remained unsolved, turning the brothers' lives into a before and after marked by that fateful day. They had to grow quickly, navigating the world without their parents' guidance, but holding onto the hope that one day the mystery will be solved and their family would be reunited. The experience taught them resilience and the importance of community and the unbreakable strength of family bonds, even in the face of the unknown. Several months after their parents' disappearance, as fall leaves began to blanket their small town, an unexpected visitor changed everything for Alex, Lorenzo, and Jonathan. It was a chilly evening when the doorbell rang, a rare sound in their now quiet home. Cautious but curious, Lorenzo answered the door. Standing before him was an elderly man dressed entirely in black, his face marked with a deep line that spoke of many years and burdens carried. His eyes, however, had a peculiar spark, almost magical in their intensity. The man introduced himself as Mr. Aldridge. He asked to come in, claiming to have important information about their parents. Initially hesitant, the bond of hope, but the brothers still clung to nudge them to invite him inside. As they gathered in the living room, the warmth of the fireplace casting eerie shadows, Mr. Aldridge began to unravel a tale that seemed to torn from the pages of a fantasy novel. They explained that he was once a close friend of their parent. Who were the members of the secret society that dealt with the mystical and the arcane? Their disappearance, he revealed, was not ordinary. According to Mr. Aldridge, during a recent society meeting, a disagreement had escalated among the members about the use of a powerful artifact known as the Lunar Amulet. This amulet was capable of immense power, including the ability to bend time and reality. Their parents had opposed using the amulet for fear of its potential dangers and ethical implications of altering reality. However, one of the society members, driven by ambition and greed, had cast a spell using the amulet to banish their parents to an unknown realm, believing they stood in his way to harnessing the amulet's full powers. Mr. Aldridge had opposed this action, but was overpowered. He had been searching for a way to reverse the spell since the incident, which led him to the brothers. The spell he had disclosed was anchored to the lunar amulet and could only be broken by a counterspell, which required certain rare ingredients and unity of their parents' bloodline, meaning the brothers themselves. As the old man spoke, the room seemed to grow colder, and the gravity of his words settling around them like thick fog. The brothers listened, a mix of disbelief and dawning realization crossing their faces. Alex, ever the skeptic, questioned the truth of such an unbelievable story. Lorenzo, caught between hope and despair, wanted to believe, while Jonathan, the youngest, absorbed the tale with wide-eyed wonder. Determined to see if there was truth in Mr. Aldridge's claims, they agreed to help him. He gathered the necessary ingredients for the counterspell. This decision sparked a series of adventures as the brothers found themselves delving into a hidden market, ancient libraries, and meeting with older arcane practitioners under the guidance of Mr. Eldridge. Each location and character they encountered seemed to confirm the existence of a world their rational minds would have denied months earlier. As they continued their quest, the brothers grew in courage and resourcefulness. They learned about the mystical arts and courage, and about the depth of their own resilience. Yet the spell remained unbroken, and their parents' location was still unknown. This is an amazing story. Keep listening, we're almost there. The journey to break the spell had just begun, and although fraught with challenges and dangers, it had brought a new sense of purpose to the brothers' lives. In this absence of their parents, they found strength in each other and a connection to a heritage they never knew they had. The quest was far from over, but Alex, Lorenzo, and Jonathan were ready to face whatever lay ahead. Armed with a newfound knowledge and burning hope to one day reunite their family, several weeks after a startling revelation about their parents, the mystical forces at play, Alex, Lorenzo, and Jonathan found themselves entrenched in their quest to break the spell. It was during this tumultuous period, amidst their search for rare ingredients needed for the counterspell, that Alex attempted to make a crucial phone call that he hoped would bring them closer to finding their parents. Even just received a tip about a key informant, a recluse known only as the Keeper of the Gate, who supposedly had first-hand knowledge of the portal's workings. Alex knew they needed to act quickly. The Keeper lived in an isolated region where communication was notoriously unreliable, but urgency of their quest left no room for delay. As the brothers huddled around in their dimly lit living room, filled with maps and arcane books, Alex dialed the number given to them by a mystic contact. The phone rang, cutting through the silence of the room, and after several tense rings, a gruff voice answered the connection. The connection was poor, filled with static and echoes, but Alex pressed on, explaining their plight and their desperate need for guidance. The Keeper, though initially reticent, began to relent as Alex's earnest and heartfelt plea echoed through the static, just as the Keeper was about to divulge critical information about the portal, perhaps even about their parents' location. The unthinkable happened. A storm that had been brewing finally broke, unleashing a torrent rain and furious winds that rattled the windows and threatened to tear down power lines. As the Keeper spoke, his words becoming more vital and revealing by the second, the lights flickered ominously. Alex gripped the phone tighter, urging Lorenzo and Jonathan to listen closer. The Keeper was just outlining the coordinates of a secret location when a sharp crackle interrupted the phone, followed by deafening silence. The internet connection, already weak and unstable in their rural home, flattered under the strain of the storm. In a moment, the call was cut off, leaving the room in silence, punctuated only by the howling wind outside. The brothers stared at the phone in disbelief, the weight of the missed information pressing down on them like the storm itself. Frustration and a sense of helplessness washed over Alex. He attempted to redial, his fingers numb from the tension, but it was no use. The network was down, completely incapacitated by the storm fury. The brothers were left in the dark, both literally, metaphorically, and as they pondered their next move. The night stretched on, long and unyielding. The storm raged around them, mirroring the turmoil as they grappled with the setback. But as they prepared their gear, checked their maps, and secured their home against any further tempests, the brothers knew that every setback only strengthened their resolve. They were united in their quest, driven by the love of their parents and the unyielding desire to bring them back. No matter the obstacles they faced, or the forces that tried to thwart their path, the journey was far from over. But Alex, Lorenzo, and Jonathan were ready to face whatever lay ahead together. Thank you guys for listening. Next up is chapter 2 for tomorrow. Thank you guys for listening. I'll catch you guys later.